Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on a patio. Today, smoking my Savinelli 320 unfinished with some black Irish twist in it. And it's colored up nicely. And I'm sitting out here. It is a beautiful sunny day right now. Well, semi-sunny, got some clouds in the skies. Supposed to have some more thunderstorms tonight, this afternoon. Denny is doing a little better today. I just took a test and I'm still negative. So, as my mom would say, I've been negative since the day I was born. And the kids are doing good. They're all negative, and Denny's been staying away from everybody and following protocol and doing everything she's supposed to do. Another day or two, she should be good to go, hopefully. That mask is just doing a number on my beard here, just putting all kinds of dents in it and making it look all goofy. Bluebirds are singing. Well, I think that was a wren or something, though. I don't think that was a bluebird. Oh man. So I was chatting on Facebook with a buddy of mine, Steve, who's down in Florida now. He used to work at a guitar shop in San Diego, and when he got out of the Navy, he started working at that guitar shop, Moe's. And I had worked there for a short time at one point, and I hung out there all the time. And Steve's a good buddy of mine, and I started thinking back on when Steve was working there, and we had he had come and done a gig with me one time. I was using this guitar. It was called a Go guitar, and it was made by Sam Radford, and Sam used to work at American Dream Guitars, and American Dream Guitars is where Bob Taylor started, from Taylor Guitars, and Bob Mose from Mose Guitars started there also. And I play a Mose guitar as well, and but these Go guitars were these little, like, travel guitars. And Sam had made me one of these little guitars. Well, I bought it. Didn't make it for me, but I bought one of his guitars. And I love this thing, man. It was just so cool, and it had such a cool sound. And so I was doing a gig, and I was going to do a set just using this guitar for the set. And so Steve Parr, also had one, and so Steve and I asked Steve to come down, and we would do a set together just using these guitars, and so he came down and we did a set just using these Go guitars. I had so much fun using and playing with these things. And Sam, the guy who made them, he came down and did video, and Sam Radding, that's his name, not Sam Radford. Sam Radding, but I was using the little square-bodied one. He makes a bigger one now, a parlor guitar. I don't know if he's still making them or not. This was early 90s, I guess, mid 90s. But he made a Go-Bro, which is, I wanted to get one of those guitars in the worst way. It was like a Dobro, but a little travel guitar like that, and he called it a Go-Bro. And man, I wanted to get one of those so bad, and I never did. And but I used that little guitar for slide a lot, and it sounded so incredible. It was just a little, tiny little guitar, you know, shaped like a rectangle, but it had the coolest sound. When I was in doing a recording session with Chris Murphy for an album that wound up being called The Electric Soul Pimps, and we were doing Bob Dylan's Highway 61, I was playing rhythm guitar on my Moes, and Chris was playing harmonica on it. It was just the two of us. And we were just kind of jamming, and it went on for, like 10, 11, 12 minutes, something like that. Him singing, blowing harmonica. And then he said, I want you to come in. He goes, can you put slide on that? And I said, yeah, I can throw slide on that. So I brought in that little go guitar, and the engineer was like, what is that? And I said, it's called a go guitar. And he goes, is that going to cut it for this? I said, well, listen to it and let me know what you think. And so I started playing slide. He goes, man, that thing sounds so freaking cool. And it sounded like a cross between a dobro and a National Steel, but like a National Steel with a wooden body almost. It was like the coolest in-between sound that you ever heard. It was just an amazing sounding guitar for slide guitar. So I put slide on this thing. It was like a 12-minute song. And he said, Chris was in the engineer's room, and he's like, man, I just want you to play 12 minutes of slide. Just go ahead and put slide all over this thing. So I sat in there and I played slide for 12 minutes, putting slide licks, in between his harmonica stuff. And he said, don't worry about going over my harmonica stuff. We can work that around that. We'll take harmonica out or guitar out, whatever, when we're done. And that thing came out so awesome. And he used it as a, he didn't use it on the final album, but he used it as a B-side on like a bonus track type thing. And they did an electric version of it for the album. Man, it was so cool. And it sounded so dang good. That slide sounded so good on there. And then I played on like six tracks on that album. Chris was an amazing singer, and he was a Native American, and from the Sequan tribe, and he just an amazing singer. And then right after we finished that album, he passed away, and he had finished that album, was just getting ready to go on tour, and got real sick, and got like pneumonia, and his wife called me up one day and said he had passed away. And that was kind of the end of the project. He had printed up, a bunch of these CDs, and it just kind of went nowhere. And it's too bad. It was he was just such an amazing singer. cool songwriter, wrote really cool songs and did really cool versions of other people's stuff. Like he did a really cool version of it was a Bonnie Raitt did it. It was gosh, I can't think of the name of the song now. It was on the album. Angela Montgomery did a great version of that song, and I played double electric slide on it, and it was just a cool version. He has such a great voice, just a cool voice. And he lived on the reservation, you know, the Sequan Reservation. And so I went over to his house, and they had a studio there on the reservation. So he invited me over, and he says, "Come on over, we'll talk about this recording thing and getting this recording done." So I went over there, and I walked in his house. He's got this big fruit bowl. I mean, it's a big fruit bowl about 12 inches across and probably about 8-10 inches deep, just full of joints. Just help yourself, man. Help yourself. And I'm like, oh man, what have we got here? But it was on the reservation, you know, and I remember talking to the other guys that played on the album, and their reaction was the same thing. It was like, holy crap, did you have the big old bowl of joints when you walked in? Hell yeah. And I didn't smoke at all back then, you know. I didn't smoke at all then. And at that point, I wasn't smoking anymore. And I was like, nah, man, I don't smoke anymore. I was thinking, man, wish I did. I'd be going home with baggies full of this stuff, man. But it was quite an experience, and just thousands, and there you'd look in the kitchen, and there were just half-smoked joints just everywhere on the kitchen counter, just everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. Crazy times. Oh man, that was an interesting session. Couple sessions. I did 3 different sessions with Chris. 3 different recording sessions for him. for that album. And I'd come in and he'd say, okay, here's the song, I'm leaving, do what you want. Except for one song. He had a specific thing he wanted me to do on one song. There were certain licks he wanted me to play on one song. But the rest of them, he's like, just play what you want, man. Just do it. And he said, I'll come in when you're done and we'll listen to it. And with the first song, he said, I just want you to play what you feel. When you listen to the song, play what you feel. And when I was finished, he came in and he listened to it and he started crying, man. And he said, you've completely changed the whole direction of this record. And he said, I absolutely love what you've done. And he goes, you've completely changed the direction of this record. And he said, I want you to play on this other song too. And they pulled up another song and had me play on that. And he says, I want you to come back. We're going to have more songs for you to play on. Come back. And they had me back another time, and then a third time. And I just had so much fun doing it. And but it was great. It was a great experience, and he was just fun to work with, and turned me loose, and he didn't know me from Adam, which was really cool. He didn't know anything about me. He had gone up to the guitar shop and said, hey, I'm looking for someone who can play slide guitar. Do you know anybody? And they gave him my number, and he called me up. He said, hey, I'm looking for someone to play slide on my record. Would you be interested in doing it? And so we talked details, and he said, I live on the reservation, and so I didn't know what I was getting into, what I was dealing with. So I was a little worried, I asked the guys at the shop, do you know this guy? And they said, nope, he just came in here and said he was looking for a slide player. And so, I'm taking, $15,000 worth of gear out to the reservation. I don't know what I'm getting into, So I'm packing, I'm packing because I don't know what I'm walking into. So I don't know if I'm getting robbed. I don't know what's, I don't know. I'm packing a lot of gear, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and literally, it's in the middle of nowhere, and the studio is on the reservation. And back then it was this was the early 90s, and it hadn't been built up yet like it is now. They hadn't got all the casino money and everything that was, they would have coming into it, and they were just starting the casinos, So it hadn't been, really built up yet. But it was interesting. It was definitely interesting. It's funny, all those things that come flying back at you. You start thinking about one thing and it leads to something else, and then you go down these rabbit trails. One memory brings you to another, and then to another. I've had a pretty cool life. So anyway, I will catch y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye now.